Welcome back to my channel, Steady As She Grows. I'm Lorinda. It's been a while since my last video. We are in September and the garden is looking pretty. Usually around August or September, things are dying. It's super hot here in SoCal. It's like 100 degrees today, and I'm a lazy gardener. If it's too hot, I just won't come out and do anything. So things get neglected and things die, but what are you gonna do? We could always plant more. So some stuff is pretty much done for the season. Some stuff I can start again if I wanted to, and some stuff I could just kind of trim up and it stimulates them to keep pushing on and produce more fruit. So we're gonna do a garden tour today so we can show you what's still going on, what's still growing, and what is done, and some ideas I may have for some things that I want to grow. So here we go. Hang on. Okay, we are gonna shoot in reverse this time. Normally I start over there by like the pots of cherry tomatoes and stuff, but we're gonna go around this way. So this was my big rainbow tomato. It got infected pretty bad with spider mites. So I trimmed off as much as the spider mite damage I can see and left a few suckers that were pretty low and some that were still looking kind of good, and it looks pretty good. I think I might get a second round of fruit from this. I did see some flowers, but you know, it was pretty hot the last couple of days and it might have dropped its blossoms. I do see some right here that blossoms are just dropping, but I do see some right here that might produce some fruit. So only time will tell. And I'm gonna give it a really good spray with some neem oil, my neem oil concoction, to try to see if I can keep the spider mites away from it the second round. But see how the leaves have like a tinge of yellow? That's a sign of spider mites. So if I look underneath it really close, there might be some spider mite damage. I can't really tell, but I'm gonna give it an application anyways. It's always better to be safe than sorry. And here was my Mr. Stripey. I trimmed him up. He was all the way up the trellis and I cut most of it off, left a few suckers, and I did see some flowers the other day as well. So hopefully I get some Mr. Stripeys. You could always get a second round, at least here in SoCal. If you trim everything up really good, things come back really healthy, pending the weather is still good. And these tomatoes here get about half a day sun. Once it hits noon, the sun goes behind this building and they're in the shade. So I think they like that. So here is my zucchini plant. This is just a regular green zucchini. It hasn't been doing too good. It has leaf miner damage. I keep trimming it off, but it's not really producing many flowers. I think this zucchini plant is done. So I don't have any other zucchini plants right now. I've taken everything out. Let's see what else we got over here. This was, let's see here. This was a Roma tomato. Mr. Roma Tomato was all the way up this trellis, but this one had the worst spider mite damage of them all. It was even up this trellis right here. And I had to cut almost all of it off. This one I cut completely right there. This one over here, I left one sucker that was really low on the plant, and to see what will happen. So hopefully I get some Romas again. I could always start from seed again if I wanted to, but I just might. I'm not sure. Okay, Malabar Spinach is going wild. And it puts off shoots. I keep cutting these shoots off because they start attaching to everything. You really have to keep this on check. But it's doing great. So the leaves are still really tender. No bug damage I see on it at all, which I'm really surprised. So that's pretty cool. This butternut squash here has a lot of powdery mildew. You know, with the fires and everything going on here, we didn't have a lot of sun for a few days, and I think without the sun, the mildew just set in. So I need to trim this off. But I noticed once I trim it all off as well, that it comes back, and it does pretty good. I've already harvested quite a few butternut squash off of this plant, and as you can see, I have a couple right there, and I have some flowers about to open still, and it's still producing babies like that, the female flowers. So I really need to get on it. But like I said, I get so lazy. I don't want to come out here when it's so hot. So it is what it is. We do what we can when we can. These peppers, look at these peppers. They look terrible, just terrible. You know, I really did not do good with peppers this year, and I think I kind of know why. I started them too early. They all got stunted and from the cold, and then when I put them in the ground, they were already stunted and they couldn't thrive. So even the peppers over there, you know, they're not looking good. They did give me a few peppers, but they never looked healthy and they never really put on growth. They kind of just stayed like that, and all the leaves got all crinkly, and I mean the hot really didn't help, but they're peppers. They're supposed to, you know, like the heat here. And so next year I'm putting seeds directly in the ground. That is what I'm going to do, and see what happens there. This is some Egyptian walking onion. It's like a green onion, but it puts on these bulb shoots at the top that you can replant and start a whole new plant. So I got some right there. This one's already growing. I need to pluck these off and put them back in there. And we just eat them like green onions. And if you leave them in here over a year, it actually forms a bulb like a shallot. And it's a very spicy onion, but it's really good. It cooks up really well. These are some blueberries. I think these are blackberries. It's put it on flowers, but I need to get this one in a bigger pot. I think the berries aren't developing very well because it needs more nutrients from the pot. So I need to get on that. Hopefully this week the weather is going to supposedly get cooler, so we'll see. I have everything kind of covered up with shade cloth because it's been so hot and I don't want things to get fried. But there's a few different berry bushes here. These are berry bushes, and they're getting kind of crispy from the heat, but this raspberry bush right here is just putting on crazy growth, and hopefully next year I'll have a bunch of berries right here. I think I'm going to leave this trellis here too. I had put this here for the cucumbers, and but it's already, the berry bushes have already intertwined through this trellis, so this trellis ain't going nowhere. But look, I had a lot of leaf miner damage. See these little curlicues? Those are leaf miner damage. So I trimmed it all off, and when you trim it off, it diverts energy into flowers. And then I started getting another round of cucumbers. Excuse me. The air is still so ashy. Excuse me. So I just harvested a really big cucumber today. I put in my salad, and it still tastes amazing. So hopefully I can keep getting cucumbers as long as I keep trimming the damaged leaves off. So that's pretty cool. I got another cucumber plant down here, leaf miner damage, which I need to cut off. And look at the baby cucumber. So cute. Pickle Rick. All right. And this here is my cannabis plant. Now, a thing happened today. So you can see it's starting to develop the buds. And I'm going to try to get as close as I can, if it stays in focus. See all the little, looks like dew on the leaves? Those are called trichomes. And those, I believe, what contains the THC. So I told my son to water this plant today because it really needed to be watered. I mean, you can tell we have a lot of dried leaves. It's been really hot here in SoCal, like I said. And he watered it. And I asked him later, okay, Parker, thank you for watering it. You know, we have to really keep an eye on the forecast, because if there's any rain in the forecast, we need to move this out of the rain because we don't want those buds to get any moisture. And he told me, what? Mom, when I watered the plant, I watered the whole plant, and my heart just sunk into my stomach because you don't want to get the buds wet because it can get bud rot with too much moisture. So I was like, no. And I came out to check the plant and they were drenched. Everything was just sopping wet. So we moved the plant. It was over here, right there. You can see it actually rooted into the dirt over there. We ripped it up. And then we put it into the sun. So this was in full sun most of the day to kind of dry it out. And we even brought out an air blower and blew it for a long time until the battery died to try to dry it out as much as possible, because bud rot from moisture inside the flowers can just ruin your harvest. So yeah, he learned his lesson, but you know, I think it'll be okay. I think they'll dry out. Hopefully moisture didn't get to the center of the buds, but you never know. Sorry, Planty People. I had to stop and go in and put on socks and my boots because my feet were getting eaten alive by mosquitoes or fleas. I don't know which, but bugs love my Latina blood. Remember we had a zucchini plant over here, had to rip that out. It was done. Oh, some done sunflowers right there. Stinging nettle. Yuck. The garden is just looking so horrible right now. But look. Look at all the lemons I have on my lemon tree. Isn't that super cool? It has so many. They'll be ready probably in a couple months, actually. I'm thinking end of October, maybe. So maybe about a month. End of October, early November, they should be ready. Definitely it produces twice. Excuse me now for the hiccups. It produces twice a year, usually in the fall and early spring. Longevity spinach. Need to trim you up, but I've been juicing it and it's yummy. Nothing going on there. Cucumber here that looks like it needs to be watered. I watered it earlier today too, about noon, and it was so hot today it just sucked it all up. But my eggplant, this eggplant is the heaviest producing thing in the garden. I can't even keep up with it. We could only eat so much baba ganoush. And I try not to turn on the oven when it's too hot in my house because it makes the house so hot. So we haven't even been eating this eggplant. I probably should just give it away. I can't even keep up. It is so prolific. Ugh, I need to come out and harvest more. I have a basket full already in the house. My peppers, sad peppers. But there are some peppers on it. They look kind of funky, like really scabby. But oh, there's an orange one down there. But yeah, I'm gonna rip these out, and I'm gonna try to plant some new ones right now with seed. You know, here in SoCal, I'm zone 10B, and we can kind of plant things as long as we have warm weather because we don't get frost. So I'm gonna try again, just see what happens. You don't know till you try. Sunflower, about ready to open. So pretty. I got my apple tree here covered up from the sun. It has no apples on it, just foliage right now. It's putting on some new growth, so that's exciting, but it'll start blossoming again in the spring. So just a waiting game with that. Pulled out the tomato plant that was here. That big beefsteak tomato plant that was supposed to be award-winning was a fail. I don't know if it's my soil here or what, but it did not do good at all. So just rip that out. Here's a jalapeno plant that started putting on flowers again, so hopefully I get some more jalapenos for some salsa. And this African daisy plant really needs to get trimmed up and pruned. What do we got over here? This is milkweed for the monarchs that they don't even know that's here. Yeah, there's no caterpillars or nothing on it. It's just going gangbusters, so I might need to move it. It's in a grow bag. You can't tell because it's buried underneath the African daisy, but it's in a grow bag, and I think I'm going to move it over to the lilac plant, which is pretty dead right there. But I'm going to trim all this up, and it'll come back even better in the spring. So it looks ugly now, but that's just the time of the year in the garden, as well as these pretty hideous foliage of the hollyhocks. Believe it or not, I've just finished trimming up the last blooming hollyhocks a couple days ago. They still had blooms on it, and I took them in the house, and when it gets cooler, I'm going to come out here and trim all this up to the ground, and they'll come back next spring. I did plant some dragon tongue bush beans here, but didn't do too good. I have some beans there that I'm just going to let continue to go to seed so I can harvest them. The only reason I planted the bush beans here was to amend this bed with nitrogen, but my plans kind of got foiled a little bit. They didn't do as I thought they were going to do. Some plants didn't even come up, so I don't know. All the beds in the garden right now need amending really bad and nutrients added, so need to get on that, Lorinda. But look at this, is a new little addition to the garden. I just planted these the other day. These are candy cane peppers. Look at the foliage variegation. Isn't that pretty cool? It almost looks like it has a disease, but that's just how they are. But look at the peppers. The peppers are striped, almost like a fish pepper, but these are candy cane peppers. It's going to be a red pepper with white stripes, and they're supposed to be a sweet pepper. So I'm really excited for those. I just planted these in here, plant starts, about 2 weeks ago, and they're looking really good. However, this one here has some leaf miner damage, which you can see from the curly lines. The leaf miners were just crazy this year, absolute crazy. This was the remnants of the bitter melon, the Okinawa white bitter melon. That's just done. I did save a lot of seeds from that I have for next year, because those seeds are pretty expensive, and I heard there's going to be a seed shortage next year with everything. So if you can save seeds this year, do it. This is my pomegranate tree that has been under attack by the rodents. Let me see if I can show you some of the damage. Look at that, they've just been hollowed out. It's crazy, but I have so many, and they're already starting to split. Like this one right here isn't even attacked by anything. It just split open because the arrows are so swollen with juice that it just split on its own, and so many of them are starting to split like that one. I need to harvest these. And usually I don't harvest them until mid-October. That's when their flavor is at its peak, but I don't want to risk losing all the fruit from splitting. I don't know why they're splitting so early. Usually they don't split this early, but I'm telling you, 2020 has been something else. So I have so many. I love pomegranates, and mine are so delicious. They're so sweet, but I tasted one that I picked just the other day, and it's still so tart. So, you know, I don't know what to do. Should I pick them? Should I not pick them? And just wait and see what happens? Who knows? The garden, every year it's something different. And they're all so heavy on this tree. They're so low to the ground. I can't even get under this tree anymore. I can't even walk under it. So, and I wouldn't want to anyways because there's spiders. But here's some basil. Got lots of basil. That's sage. I think there's some dead onions over there. Some zinnias that are still producing flowers. I'll never say no to pretty zinnias. Strawberry patch that's giving me no strawberries but putting on runners, so that's what it's putting its energy into right now, are the runners, not the berries. But that's okay. It'll give me berries next spring. Look at my climbing rose. I'm gonna see if I can come around. I kind of trained it to go up to the top here, and it has some roses up there. Really pretty. I need to get a ladder and trim them up. And here's some melon plants in this trough right here. I have cantaloupe and I have Kajari melon. One of my melons, that was a big cantaloupe I had, got eaten by a rodent. So then I started to put some of the bigger, melons in bags like this to protect them from the rodents. So this is a pretty good size one in here. It has a ways to go though. But, leaf minor damage, just keep trimming off the leaves. As long as you keep on top of trimming off the leaves with the leaf minor damage, it'll keep diverting the energy into the fruit. If you leave these on, the fruit will never develop because it's putting too much energy into fighting the disease. So you want to cut off any damage as soon as you see it. But you do need to make sure you still leave quite a bit of green leaves for photosynthesis so it can create energy. If all the leaves have leaf minor damage, cut off the ones with the most damage and then wait a few days and let it produce more growth and then continue cutting off leaf minor damage. You never want to cut everything off at once. I have these tomato plants covered up from the sun. I didn't want them to get sun scald. But look, let's see if I can. This is a German Johnson tomato. Pretty. I'm going to pick that after this video. And look at this. Oh my God, I'm getting tangled over here. Look at how pretty. Those are Mr. Stripeys. Look at that. So awesome. So delicious too. I need to get those before the rodents do. Now, the rodents have been eating this one. I've been letting them eat this one. So if I leave these tomatoes on there, the rodents will eat these, hopefully, and not eat the Mr. Stripeys. So I'm not gonna pick these. I'm gonna let the rodents have them. Sometimes you need a sacrificial plant. You gardeners get me. You understand what I mean. Some stuff is, struggling in the heat. Some herbs, some stevia that I just watered. It came back. It was completely dead, as you saw in one of my videos, but I watered it really good and it came back a little bit. What else we got over here? Just some flowers still. The dead zinnia. What else we got over here? Some petunias that came back that are looking pretty good. The clematis put on a lot of flowers and then just let them die. So I'll trim those off. Everything needs to be trimmed up right now. Oh my goodness, I'm just noticing all these fruits over here that are splitting. I really need to come out here and prune all these pomegranates off. At least all the split ones. I could probably still salvage some of the split ones. My table here is a disaster. The garden right now is just a disaster. It's that time of year. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Next week is supposed to cool off and I'm really gonna clean this garden really good. Right, Lorinda? Look at what happened to my string of hearts. The pot broke. It fell right off. It looks like the rope rotted and fell and it cracked. So I picked up the plant, just threw it in this pot really quick and watered it really good. And I'm gonna trim it up and then repot it in something else that'll hang, that's more sturdy. I'm really bummed that broke. This one's doing really good. This is Portulaca. Has some flowers, these really pretty rosette style flowers. I have a lot of macrame like this that I might just put the string of hearts, just get another terracotta pot just like this. And I bought these macrames on clearance at Target for $1 2 years ago, and I just been saving them, and then I forgot I even had them, and then I found the bag, and then I'm like, oh my god, I had so many. So I'm so excited I can just use regular old pots and hang my plants instead of buying plants with built-in hangers, because this is better because this doesn't actually get wet like the other pot did. some herbs, rosemary, some sad mint that I'm going to rip out, some thyme in the background that's doing good, cucumber, I don't know, it's been kind of hot, leaf miner. Now I did buy these leaf miner traps. These leaf miner traps are a necessity for anybody with a citrus tree or has leaf miner issues. That little plastic nub in there, that has the pheromone for the leaf miner, which is a little flying mothy type bug that lays its eggs on the underside of the leaf, and the larvae make the little tracks and eat the leaf from the inside out. But that pheromone will attract them and hopefully get them stuck in there. So I put one right between these two cucumber plants to lure the leaf miners away from the plants, but don't think it's working very well. I keep seeing the damage, but like I said, just keep cutting off the damage. As long as it's still putting on new growth, you can keep cutting off the damage. If it's not putting on growth, you know, you might have to just rip out the whole plant. But look, I do have a baby cucumber here, so excited. And this cucumber plant is getting pretty big. It's pretty tall. Look, I got cucumbers. Exciting. And these are some onions that I just planted from the grocery store that were left over after some baked potatoes. I just popped them in there. And these peppers are pretty new too. I just put these in here maybe a month or so ago, and look, I have peppers already. This one has a little bit of sun scald from the heat, but I have one that turned red already and some green ones. Kind of cool, but you can see leaf miner damage as well. Damn leaf miners. And this is a yellow pear tomato and a sun gold. The sun golds are still pretty sweet. I just keep trimming off the ugly branches and it still keeps producing. It's not a heavy producer like it was last year, but it's still producing, and I'm glad it's not producing super heavy because I can't keep up with what I got anyway. So it gives me them when I want them, which is kind of nice. So there you have it. There's my garden in September. You know, it's been prettier for sure, but it's still giving me goodies and I can't complain. You know, the garden is only as good as its gardener. So I try, but you know, I have things I gotta do too. I have a family, and those who don't know, I'm going to school. I'm so excited about that. I'm learning a new profession. I'm gonna be a sterile processing technician. If you don't know what it is, look it up. There is such a demand for that profession right now. So we are in need. So I'm excited for that. My son is taking the class with me. So we'll be done in the end of October. That is so cool. Very excited about that. So I've been busy, you know. I only am one person. I could do what I can. So you know what? It is what it is. And I'm excited to plant some new stuff for fall. Hopefully next weekend I can get some things in like broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower, all those goodies. So we'll see. I'm excited. Always something new going on in the garden. Well, thank you. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share me with your friends. And I'll be putting out some videos soon, so keep an eye out. And if you haven't yet, get out and grow something. It's never too late. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, shout out to Abby and Sophie. Thank you for watching my videos, my new little subscribers. Talk to you later. Bye.